Genie so they can kind of talk about what it's like to be a current student. And then I'll end with sort of walking through the admissions and applications process.
Cool, cool. Hi, I guess I will introduce myself a little bit. My name is Genie Hien Tran, and I am from Vietnam. So I'm an international student here in the MFA program, and I'm also a second year. My pronouns she, they, and I guess like I have had quite an adventure at MCAD. So I can share my screen and then talk about that. So let's see, I started the program with like, I can walk through this first. I started the program as an illustrator. So I graduated from undergrad program with like my portfolio in illustration. So this was kind of my work before MCAD. And once I got to MCAD, like I think what I'm really appreciating about the program is like the ability to allow myself to think beyond mediums and to like actually hone in and become more self-aware of what I'm making and actually creating things that I'm curious about, just like haven't had the opportunity to make it during undergrad. And so like I started to kind of explore into more like installation work. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I just started to make a lot of like painted images that inherent like taking up spaces a lot more and like yeah, it's just like I think the program really like allows me to explore like different mediums and different kinds of work that I'm curious about making, just because you're always like surrounded yourself with a lot of people who are also just as curious about their work. And being in like constant dialogues with these people has been really helpful with my practice. Um, I can show a little bit about my like mid-program review work. So when George were talking about this part, I think they were mentioning that it was one of the most like vigorous part of the first year. And so all in all, like it was like a stressful experience, but like it also was fun to learn how to deal with deadline, learn how to install and work with all of that. And in like I feel like I ended up with a good work for my mid-program review. And honestly it's like wouldn't have happened if like I didn't have the help of my mentor. Like mentorship program at MCAD is just such like an important experience for me. This is coming in like I feel like I didn't have as much like guidance throughout undergrad, and so I felt like it was just like confusing for me at the beginning of grad school to try to figure out everything for myself. And then so I ended up with one mentor at the beginning, and that relationship like didn't work out. And so I just like interview a different person, and so like he has been my mentor like for 2 semesters now. And I know a lot of people who use a different method, who like another cohort of mine in the program would have a different mentor every semester, and that works for him because he wants to try out different style of animation. But for me, like it's important to find somebody who I can talk to conceptually, and we are on like kind of the same radar. Let's see. I can. I also like I can I guess just walk through images and also just talk about like I've also done like the graduate teaching assistantship for MCAD. So I've done that, and I also work for DesignWorks. So like the graphic design that's in-house, and like both of those experiences have been super meaningful to me, and it's nice to be able to have this real life experience that's is meaningful. But yeah, like my practice has grown a lot since making illustration to trying to make a lot of work that is about space and colors and much more experimental, which I feel like the program really encourages that. Yeah, is there anything else? I don't know if anybody have any specific questions for me or, yeah.
Yeah, Jeannie, maybe can you talk about like what really attracted you to MCAD? Like what made you choose MCAD as as where you wanted to go to grad school?
Yeah, it's funny because I actually wasn't planning to go to MCAD. I was with a friend who wanted to go to MCAD, and so he was like, "Do you want to take the tour with me?" And so I ended up being on MCAD and walking through the campus tour, which I really recommend because I felt like it really gives me an understanding of what the program is like, and then like what makes me finally decided on MCAD is the interdiscipline nature of the program that I feel like I'm able to do a lot of things. So like I'm like a maker of a bunch of different kinds of work and not just like I am this one thing, I am this other thing. And I think the ability to allow myself to do a lot of work and not have to limit myself is really nice. And mentorship too. Like I know so many more artists and like galleries to shows to see through my mentor because he's very connected within the Minneapolis art scene. Um, yeah, I think like yeah, I feel like mostly it's like the interdiscipline nature of the program. And
That's
also
great.
like when you work with people, like so this is like a collaborative project that I did with Alejandro and Bo from the program. And so it's just like you're in the space with these people and you just allow yourself to like connect with them and make work with them. And I feel like that makes my practice so much richer, just being by these creative people.
Definitely. I think that collaborative nature is important. Can you talk a little bit more about what it's like to be in the studios or talk about how you use your studio or anything you want to say about the studios?
Yeah, so I'm in the studio right now. That's why, hence the mask. We're still open. Even last year too. We take a lot of like safety measures with going into the studios and like who's allowed in and whatnot. But I use my studio almost every day. Usually, like I would have my schedule is kind of different because I also work at Design Works and stuff like that. So it's like I'm not here all the time, but I try to be. And Yeah, I just use my studio space to make mess a lot. I've like a bunch of these like sketches and hanging things that I just mess around. And I mean, I would show you my floor, but it's kind of messy. It's just I think it's just you use the space to make as much work as you could. And I don't know, it's nice and to have a studio space to come to. And Just allow yourself to make stuff in there.
Awesome. Thank you. John or Patrick, did you have any questions for Jeannie?
Yeah, I guess how big is each class? Like when you're in your critique class or your cohort, how many students are there?
So my specific the second year is there are 15 of us, but I think there's more people for the first year. It's like 20 or something, but it's never like too many, and they split the total of us up into two classes. So both like during grad crit class and criticism and theory, my class would have like 7 people. So it's nice to like have like a smaller group to critique your work, and they switch that up every semester too. So you would get like different opinions. Like if you have classes with this person, like it's most likely like you would have classes with a different person. So there's variety in that way. And all of my, so this semester so far, like all of my crit class, there has been like a guest artist, or like we would go like take visits at the Walker, and we'll talk to their like director, or like at the sculpture garden when they review Angela Two Star's sculpture, we get the opportunity to go there and talk to her, which is really super fun. But yeah, like a lot of guest artists and connections during crit class too.
Hey, and can you tell me more about the mentor selection process? I mean, is there a list of people that you look at their work and then contact them, or how does that work?
So MCAD has a like on their website, they have a list of all current working mentors and past mentors. So you will, what I did was I looked through a lot of the people, like almost all of them, and then see whose work I like, and then I just sent out a bunch of emails, and then who, if they're busy and they can't take on like another mentees, like that's understandable. But like a lot of people like would do visits with you, and if you feel like it's a good match, then and you can tell, like it's like an interview process almost, like you get to interview these professionals. It's interesting on my end at first. So I was like, who am I to interview these guys? But it was I thought it was intimidating at first, but it wasn't. Yeah, and you're just allowed to like change your mentor too if you're working with them for a semester and it doesn't work out.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeannie. I think I'm going to jump into the admissions kind of portion